Well, welcome back to the Inside Plano podcast. It has been a long time coming, and we know that you've emailed and asked when it's returning. Well, today it's returning. And as you may remember, but I'll reintroduce myself, Shannah Hayley, Director of Communications and Community Outreach for the City of Plano. And beside me is someone whom you haven't met yet, Amanda McNew, Director of Media Relations. Welcome to the city, Amanda.
Thanks. I'm excited to be here.
Well, and you are actually kind of taking over the lead for the podcast, and I'm super excited about that. Do you want to tell folks about what you do and what's going to happen?
Yeah. So for media relations, I'm usually working with media, reporters, journalists, that kind of thing, making sure our story is told from their angle and that they get the information they need to help spread word. Oh. So the favorite part of my job is the storytelling. I love the writing, learning about the people of Plano, and letting people know how much we actually do with the community. And this podcast is going to be my way of doing that, which kind of goes into how I kind of want to change the podcast a little bit. I still want to talk about city services, but there's always a story behind it, a person behind that. And I think there's a really good way to feature who's helping the community.
Oh, I'm really excited about it too, Amanda. We started this podcast 7 years ago, so almost to the day. So this is a really great time to say, 7-year itch, it's time to shake things up. Yes. And take a new approach. And we know that there are a lot of listeners and watchers of the podcast, so I think we're going to grow our audience even more because they're going to enjoy what we're doing. So
yes, and hopefully they'll have something to see.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll have more people watching as well. And if not, we can always give them links to things to share if they're listening.
Absolutely. Well, I think we should maybe explain a little bit for our audience. You talked a little bit about what you do for media relations, but I think, it's not necessarily common to have a director of communications and a director of media relations. So maybe we help people understand a few of the differences, right? So we're both in the business of communicating, right? Mm-hmm. Our team on the communications side, we manage all of the social media channels. We manage the city website, the city broadcast division. So this is really a partnership effort. The communications team takes care of recording and syndicating the podcast, but your side is the storytelling side.
That's right. So we're thinking videos, potential articles. Mm-hmm. So we would work together on a lot of those things. So it's kind of what's happening in the next month and how can we tell our story the best. I used to be in TV news, so I think visually. My brain automatically goes there. And it's always, like I said, the person behind the story. I think that everyone has a story to tell and that it's more impactful when you understand why the things are happening the way they do. If you're talking construction, why are we having it? What's the result of that? And then also looking at who this will benefit. So it's not just we're all great, but how it can actually impact people's drive.
Absolutely. And the communications side, I've always been in strategic communications, and I've been with the City of Plano for 10 years. So my job is really to help figure out how do we get these stories to where they need to be at the right time, to the right people, in the right channel. So do you prefer to read things in a newsletter? Are you a person who likes to see short videos? Do you prefer to spend time on Facebook, or would you rather watch it on television on standard definition channels because that's what you have at home? That's our job, is making sure that the information is available when required. And then the other part of our team's responsibility is community outreach. So really helping to connect the city with the community and understanding that no one individual can do things alone. The city certainly operates through partnerships. And so we work very hard under the direction of city management, city council, on building strong partnerships and finding ways to connect the community together. Well, we thought today maybe we'd get to know each other in a slightly different way. What do you think, Amanda?
I think that's a great idea. It's a great introduction for how we're going to go and how we work together.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have some questions for each other.
Yes.
And I need to take a refreshment break, if that's okay.
Yes.
All right. Who wants to kick off the questions?
I can start.
All right.
Coffee or tea?
Okay, the truth is, for me, it's both. Today, what I just took a sip of, hot tea. What about you?
My mug says tea, but I'm drinking coffee. I like both. I like coffee in the morning. I like tea in the evening. I like chamomile, peppermint, even a good English breakfast. I love hot tea.
I am, when it comes to tea, English breakfast or green tea only. When I lived in the UK, they would always say, tea is the gentler caffeine. So it's the post-morning drink.
I will say, I had a former coworker from England, and he would go across the pond and bring back English breakfast tea from England, and
It's different.
swore it was better. It really was good.
It is. It's really good. I'm pretty picky.
But that would be one of my little Christmas gifts from him. It would be a Tupperware container of English breakfast tea from England.
That is a so very British gift. I love it.
It was great.
All right. Second question. Are you a weekend brunch or a night out?
I like both. I will say for brunch, anywhere that I could have salsa. It is my favorite food. I want salsa all the time. So I would probably stick to like a brunch, nice migas or something like that. And I'd like that with my girlfriends, just to go out with friends and really relax. For a night out, I would go with my husband, and I like to dress up fancy. He is not fancy, but I like to look good and have a really nice meal. So dinner with him.
That's funny. I'm just thinking about salsa being the sixth food group. For me, I am definitely a weekend brunch kind of person. I like to go for a run early on a Saturday morning and go out to brunch with friends afterwards and with my husband. He is my reliable plus one at all times. I am not a night owl, but I do enjoy a good dinner out, although I am starting to really embrace that a good dinner out, if I'm not working, can actually be at 5:30 p.m. and it's so delightful because I can then be home at a reasonable hour.
And you're not waiting as long for a table.
Correct, and I can still hear the conversation pretty easily.
It's true. We're getting older.
Yes, I know. We'll just embrace it, right?
Yes.
So, do you have a favorite place to eat?
I really like to go around. It depends on my mood. I love Thai food and Mexican and Indian food. So it's kind of whatever I'm craving is where I'll go. But it's kind of neat that we met before I started work at Salsa Tex-Mex. Of course, it has salsa in the name, right?
Right.
I love salsa.
I should have known, but she hadn't told me yet that
She
really
didn't know.
salsa drew her.
But it's a great little gym that
Yes.
people don't know about. I love it. And it's close to where we live.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think that's going to be my favorite.
I'm the same way. One of my favorite things actually about living in Plano, we have a ton of restaurants. You can't say that you're not spoiled for choice, but I think that we have such a diversity of cuisine types. I mean, like literally anything that you want, you can get. If you love Polish food, there is a Polish restaurant in Plano. You can have Russian food, you can have great Thai, you can have great Tex-Mex, you can have great Mex-Mex, and everything in between. So it's just, it keeps things interesting. And so
Yes.
it's hard to pick a favorite. Now, my husband and I do have a couple of places that we patronize a lot because we know the owners and they're a great experience, but I have made it my mission, and perhaps my Yelp page reflects it, that I have eaten at a lot of restaurants in Plano because I think we have a great business community here, and I enjoy supporting them through one of my favorite hobbies, which is trying new restaurants.
Yes, we have a big list of restaurants to try because it always grows.
Right, right.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm turning into the interviewer here, which is kind of my my joy. I love asking the questions. So tell me about what your favorite concert was.
It's going to date me. The Eagles, Hell Freezes Over tour.
Wow.
I took my mother, so this is almost 25 years ago, and we were on the fourth row. It was amazing. It was over 3 hours of just the Eagles. There was no other band. It was just them for hours. It was fantastic. I loved it. I love the Eagles. I grew up on them, and yeah, great experience.
My favorite is any of the Coldplay concerts. We've gone to see them every time they come to the DFW Metro because they are sensory overload, and I've yet to be in one of their concert experiences that it just doesn't leave you full of joy. They're joyful, hopeful, creative bombs, and just as a professional, I enjoy watching what they do to engage their audience in different ways. So it's a little bit of enjoying the music and then also enjoying the experience. Now, my mom would be unhappy if I didn't say also, when I was 5, my very favorite concert that I talked about for years was Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. I went and saw them at the amusement park, Worlds of Fun, now part of the Six Flags broader family, and I got to touch the hand of the bass guitar player, and apparently it
Big deal.
imprinted on my life for many, many years. So, you know, here I am many years after that, still talking about Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, and I grew up listening to them because my parents listened to them.
Yeah, I think we all have some music like that that reminds us of home. It's
Yep.
familiar, but also really good.
Exactly.
So you're more visually, you want the experience.
I do.
And I'm thinking more, I just want to hear the good music. I don't care if there's anything happening around me. I just want to be in the groove.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I'm totally all about engage every sense while I'm there.
Yes.
You ready for the next question?
Yes.
Okay, tell us, are you a spreadsheet perfectionist or are you more of a person that likes paper lists?
Paper list all the way.
Really?
I have a problem with Post-its. I have Post-its all over my office, all over my desk, and I make lists like this. I love a good list. I wish I were a spreadsheet person because that would be more organized and I wouldn't have Post-its everywhere, but I'm not. I need to physically write things down, check them off, or actually cross off what I'm doing for the day. I have actually, if I have a list of 10 things I'm doing, if I'm doing something else, I will add it to my list just to cross it off.
This is why we're friends already, because I do the same. And I have multiple notebooks. I have kind of a notebook for this and a notebook for that. And that doesn't mean that the notes for that contain only that. I sometimes intermix, but I love a good moleskin notebook. I love a good conference notebook. I love a good sheet of paper that I can write things down. And I actually do think that I remember things better if I write them down. And I will transcribe them to an electronic version later on for long-term storage, but I want to have it on a piece of paper.
See, that's where you top off because you add it to a spreadsheet later. I don't. I just look for 10,000 notebooks later. What did I do with that? And then I never find it. So no, I haven't reached that level.
Well, we'll see. That's an unlock the new boss level.
All right. What gives you more energy, a crisis or a brainstorm?
A brainstorm any day. I love to explore kind of the edges of what's possible and think through. I think great ideas come from people coming together and bringing their own version of the great idea, and you workshop those and you go someplace that you didn't necessarily expect. So incredibly creative time for me, and it's also what gives me the most energy. What about you?
The opposite. I don't want to say I love a good crisis, but I thrive in a crisis. For a lot of what I do, it is crisis communication at times. It's being prepared for it. Hopefully we don't have a lot of crisis, but I want to be ready when we do. So that's exercises, training, preparing, making lists of things that we need to do. And so when something big happens, I feel prepared, and that gives me energy to actually, okay, I've trained for this, now let's do it. And I love it. There's something in my family, generational, that we're good under pressure, and we kind of thrive in stressful situations. So it's kind of my equilibrium, my happy place.
I would never call a crisis my happy place, but I work well in it. I just don't necessarily enjoy it. At the end of it, I'm ready to go lay down, and I'm sure you're like, I'm taking notes and ready to prepare for the next one, you know, because you've learned from it.
It feels like a challenge to me, and I think that's what excites me, because it's like, all right, you know, this is the challenge, let's do it. Let's make sure everyone gets the information they need. Is everyone in the right place? So it's funny, it's a checklist of people, and working with your team, actually, because that is the list. Getting the right message out. How are we helping people? Are we reaching everyone we need to reach? And I love that challenge, and then following through and seeing how it helps people.
And I think that's part of what makes our roles and our relationship really strong, because as you're doing the preparation for it, and crises inevitably come. That's just part of being human and part of living life. You know, you'll come, we'll talk through things, and like, you know, how can we workshop? And I love that side of it. Let's workshop this idea. What's maybe a different word that could be used? What if we do this and that? And then Amanda loves, like, let's do the list, and then let's execute on it, and then let's debrief. And it's just such a good back and forth relationship.
Yeah, very complimentary.
Yeah, it's good skill sets. Okay, so tell the truth. Are you a one phone person or are you a two phone person? Let's reveal.
Two.
I'm a 1. But truth be told, I actually have 2 SIMs on this phone. So I actually have 2 phones in one.
It's cheating.
It's cheating, but I can't keep track of my one phone, although it does. My husband would disagree. He was like, you always have that phone in your hand, but I think I would lose the second phone.
Yeah, I definitely have the work phone and the personal phone. But from my former life in public safety, I was used to having just one phone and having everything together. So it is an adjustment to have 2 right now. I can't say I love it, but I do keep them paired together all the time. Otherwise, I would lose them.
Right, I can imagine.
Yes.
Double the weight. It's a good thing phones aren't huge anymore, right?
Yes.
Okay, another tell the truth. Are you always early or are you fashionably late?
I'm late, unless it's travel. I try to be on time. I really do. But something always happens. And I've also got kids at home, so there's always something. It doesn't matter how you prepare. Yeah, it drives my husband crazy. He's the one who will want to get to a movie theater before even the commercials start. He wants to be seated with his snack, with his beverage, ready to go for all the previews. I mean, really early. And I'm more of, the movie's about to start, let's go now. We have a seat. It's fine. So in that sense, definitely late for me, but early for travel.
I'm the same. I'm early for travel. We were talking earlier, and I said that the truth is, at some point in time, we will show up the day before we need to leave because I like to be early. Control what you can control. So, but in all
I'm not
other
that
ways, no, I've never really gotten there that early. But I'm, if you say 2 hours before, I'm probably going to be there 2.5 hours before because I don't want to deal with all of the nonsense that can happen with that kind of travel when it comes to airports. But in all other areas of my life, I am fashionably late, and it's not because I want to run late, but I always have one more thing that I think I can get done. So around our house, my husband, I'll say, we need to leave at 6:15. And he'll say, now is that really 6:15 or is that Shannah 6:15? Because it usually means 6:20, 6:25 if it's a Shannah time, because there are a couple other things that I think I can get done before we go out the door.
That's fair.
But it's a bad habit. I try really hard to be on time. It's not a disrespectful thing.
But as long as you're aware and everyone knows, then you've got Shannah time and it's fine.
Exactly.
Yes. All right. This one is one of my favorites. Fire station open house or police safety fair?
That's so hard because I love both our police and our fire. But I will say one of the things that I had the most fun on was going to the fire training center and getting all bunker geared up and having to hold onto that high pressure hose. It was a scary and wonderful and over the top experience. So for me, the fire open house. What about you?
I can see that completely. And there's a lot of fun things to do. Even just climbing on an engine could be fun. But I'm going to be police all the way.
That's Amanda's history. You need to know.
Yes, yes. So I spent the last 9 years with Grapevine Police with their public safety, public information. So telling their story. And you get to know a lot about officers when you work for them for that long. And yeah, so you see the backstory, you hear everything. I think putting on the SWAT gear is fun, getting in the vehicles, driving the police cars around with the sirens on. That's fun. And I got to do that at the Plano Police Citizens Academy. We have a drive day. If you haven't done it, take the class. It is so fun. I love the Citizens Academies that we have here. And I know there's other ones,
yes,
but I'm partial to police. And I loved doing the little race between the cones and driving. So much fun. So
we are really very, very lucky. We do have just the tops in public safety, and I echo what Amanda mentions about the academies. There's the police academy, there's the fire academy, and then there's also a government academy, and all three are wonderful to do. You're going to learn something new every session that you go to. All right. Okay, let's talk about where you might be found. Dog park or Plano Animal Shelter's cat room?
Dog park. 100%, hands down. I love dogs. I love them. I don't care if they drool on me, if they're slobbery, if they jump on me. It's like the more to love, the better. I love them. Running around. Our last dog was not really a fetch kind of dog, because I remember buying the Chuck It with the ball and going to the dog park and had this dream of doing some kind of fetch. Did not happen. But I love dogs of all sizes, shapes. They're my happy place.
Oh, it's hard not to love a dog. This is hard for me. 4 years ago, I would have said the cat room, and I still will say the cat room today because there's something very therapeutic about convincing an independent little animal to love you, and that's what you have to do with the cat. Unless the cat distribution system selects you, it's a negotiated relationship, and I find a lot of joy in that.
See, that's what I don't like. I mean, dogs are going to love you, and they're loyal.
This is true.
And I mean, you go home, you're guaranteed love. They're nice. They're nice. Cats are not always nice. They can be jerks.
A lot of times they can be jerks, and I have 2 jerks that live with me. Neither of them is my husband. Both of them are my cats. But we do have a dog now, and have since we got her at the end of the pandemic era. So 2021, I think we got Glory, and she meets me every day when I come home. That's her favorite thing. We close the garage door, and then her dad opens the door, and she gets to say, "Welcome home, Mom." And it is my favorite part of the day. But I don't take her to the dog park very often because she is overly social. And so not all of the other dogs enjoy how much she tells them hi. So
That's funny. I was even told if I ever got a cat to get a Maine Coon type cat because they act like dogs.
Not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But so funny.
Yeah.
All right. What about the next one?
Okay. I'm going to ask this of you because you've been here longer.
Okay.
State of the city or city council meeting?
Yes. Yes. Okay. So our team works very closely with city manager's office and the mayor to produce State of the City, from script preparation to organizing the event. So State of the City, it's a challenge. It's a once a year big challenge. And then a lot of people don't know that the communications team ensures that city council and planning and zoning meetings are broadcast so that residents, the broader community, can participate virtually in meetings, but through watching and staying up to date with what their council and their appointed boards are doing. So you can find those on Plano Television. You can find it streamed live on Facebook and on YouTube. PlanoTV.org will tell you all the station numbers that you want. So Amanda and I both now are working on State of the City together, which is going to be great. It'll be her first one, February 3rd will be the State of the City in 2026, and we are both in every council meeting. We're sitting there participating.
That's right.
So between the two, you haven't experienced our State of the City, but it won't be your first ever.
No, I will say I love that for the council meetings that you can participate virtually. If someone has a question or wants to have a statement for council, that you can do that. And I love the technology and how Plano makes sure every voice can be heard. So I do love that about our city. But the State of the City, we've already started planning for it, and I'm excited. It's a whole review of the year. It is the state of our city, and there have been so many wonderful things happening, and I get to make videos to tell that story, and so I get to be creative with the ideas.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that because you really get to see, wow, we did all of this in a year. And I think when you put it together, it's surprising at how much we really can get done.
I agree. I think it's easy to forget what's happened just 6 months ago. And when you string it together, Plano has just an amazing story to tell. Year after year, I think, what else can be told about what Plano is doing? And it's new and it's interesting. And I think our tagline, the City of Excellence, is very appropriate based on the year in review every year.
Yes, I agree.
All right.
All right.
Okay, next one, Plano East versus Plano West.
Neither.
Neither.
If you're going school, Plano Senior, go Wildcats. And it's also where I live. It's in the central part. I want to be around everything. It's my neighborhood. It's where I live. It's the people I love. So I'm definitely straight in the middle.
You're yes Plano. I am yes Plano as well. We don't have any kids, so we don't have kids in the school district, but I'm a big Plano ISD fan, and I've had the privilege of working because Plano and the Plano ISD, strong partners together, and so I've had such a great privilege of working with our peers in the school district, and just love working with all of them. And each of those schools is very unique. So yes, Plano, very Plano proud. And then, like Amanda, I'm Central Plano when it comes to what side, and I love it because honestly, Plano's 72 square miles, 74 square miles. We're in the 70s. Now I can't remember the stat right off the top of my head. Shame on me, I should have written it down. But I can get anywhere in 15 minutes, and that's fantastic because I do love, and I visit every part of Plano for different aspects of my life, from visiting friends to faith-based activities to work, and it's super nice to be able to get there very quickly.
Right, and friends, even if they are on one side or the other, you can reach them pretty quickly.
Exactly, yeah.
So.
Central Plano, all the way for me. All right, what about thinking about our great park system? We have two major large parks, so Arbor Hills or Oak Point Park.
I don't have a straight answer for that. I go to Arbor Hills if I want to take kids to the playground and do some kind of deeper trails. But I'll go to Oak Point if I want to walk around the lake or just have more open space. So it depends on kind of what I'm wanting. I would say Oak Point in the mornings, Arbor Hills in the afternoon.
Well, I love Arbor Hills for the views over the bluff. So gorgeous. So some of that just pure let your mind escape is wonderful for Arbor Hills, and it's easy to get to because, as we mentioned, Central Plano. But more often than not, I'm in Oak Point, and that's because I'm a runner and I meet up with friends in Oak Point Park. We love running the open trails. It's a great place to go walk, and there's a lot to do. And I grew up in the prairies of Kansas, and so Oak Point Park actually reminds me a lot of my home state because it's that blackland prairie land, and it's just beautiful. So I like it.
I'm not a runner.
It's okay.
At all.
That's okay.
It is not my thing. I will walk all day long. I will hike. I will not run.
I know. That's okay. You will if something chases you at some point in
Probably.
time. Or I'll just outrun Amanda. She's the sacrificial.
Just grab me.
Exactly. I'll drag her along.
Yeah, that's like if you see the bear, you push the person into the
Exactly.
bear and run.
Exactly.
I'd be the one stuck. Yeah. Okay. Favorite festival? Or would you be more of a Plano Balloon Fest or a Dickens?
I love the Balloon Fest because there is something magical about hot air balloons in the sky. And so it's not always just the festival, because the festival, they're usually doing nighttime glows, and they're doing tethered rides. But the pilots all do enjoy when the weather is perfect for it. They'll do an early morning flight, they'll do a late evening flight, and there is something that screams, you've lived in Plano, Shannah, since 1998 when you see hot air balloons floating in the sky. So that's my favorite festival.
I think that's fair, and it is good to watch. But I will pick Dickens. I love Christmas, and with kids, it's a good memory for us. So I've told some people this story. When our kids were younger, everyone goes to see Santa, right? To sit on his lap, to make your Christmas wishes. Oh no. Our daughter never wanted to see Santa. She did not care about Santa. She wanted to see Douglas the Talking Fur. So that's what we would go see. I've got pictures, years and years of pictures of her hugging this artificial tree. Because when she was younger, she really thought it was a talking tree, not someone standing in the middle of it.
That's funny.
But it's just such a good memory of joy and people coming together and happiness, and it's the wonderful time of the year.
It is, and it's just such a classic Plano festival, and it's grown and changed over time, and it's still just as magical.
It has. With the slides,
Yes.
the ice. I mean, there's so much to it.
Yeah.
It gets bigger every year, I feel like.
Absolutely. I love the ice sculptor wars. That's just pretty fun.
It's pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
talented. So come downtown this year, or don't miss Dickens. Okay, so am I going to find you, Amanda, in a library or a rec center?
Library. I love to read. I read a lot of books. I have multiple books going at the same time. And I love that we have options for libraries. It's fantastic.
You'll find me in a library a lot, but more often than not, you'll find me in a rec center because I love to live an active lifestyle. And I love that our rec centers have classes that you can take. Everything from, painting to pickleball. Like if you want a class, you can take a class. Great workout rooms. You can swim laps in the pools. I just think that they have a little something for everyone and at a really great price point. So I love our rec centers.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I will say we did do the swimming lessons when our kids were younger there.
It's important.
So-
it's important.
It was great.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite library?
This is hard because I do have a very deep emotional connection, but I live close to several libraries, probably equidistant. But Schimmelpfennig is my heart library. It's the one that I've lived closest to forever, and there's just something about Schimmelpfennig that just screams home to me. What about you?
Same one. You took mine.
Oh man,
it's unfair.
But it's a great library, isn't it?
I love it.
Yeah.
It's got a feel when you walk in. I mean, I think they all have a good vibe, but
Right.
it feels like the home library for me.
Yes.
We did a lot of events at Davis Library also. They had a lot of great programming for kids. I mean,
Yeah.
they all have something new. That's what I like. Every library is different. They've got a personality.
Right.
So I will say I like that one too. But Schimmelpfennig is our go-to. It's where we got all the children's books. You know, because when you do that, you get a bag of books
Right.
at the time and
Right.
go through them. Yeah.
And it's also my pickup spot. If I have a hold in the library,
Yes.
I always say I want to have it picked up at Schimmelpfennig
Me
on my
too.
way home. So
And I love that we can do that.
yeah, absolutely. Hey, what are you reading right now, Amanda?
I actually need a new book. I need ideas for a book. I just finished the new Dan Brown Secret of Secrets, which I loved. It was very interesting. Good things to think about. So I would say that's what I just finished reading, and now I am on to the next. Probably like a David Baldacci type thriller. I love a good thriller suspense type book. I also love rom-coms. So anything fiction for me. It is, I think I force myself a few times a year to read something to make myself better. But overall, it's my escape. It's my happy place. Any good story.
Well, that's not surprising at all. I too love to read, and I have multiple books going at once, and I usually have something to make me better. And I usually have something that I can listen to while I'm doing things, and then I have something that's just purely fun. And I love a good cozy mystery, you know, super simple, and let your brain enjoy the storytelling. That being said, right now I'm reading Impossible Fortune, which is the latest Thursday Murder Club book series, and I just love it. They make me laugh out loud. A group of pensioners solving mysteries. It's a good cozy mystery with a dose of British humor and all the things mixed in. So it's great. So it's one of the three. One of my goals before I die is to get through my to be read list. My poor Libby, you know, books that my TBR is
You never
just,
will.
I never will. Every time I clear it out or get close to it, I'm like, wow, I'm doing really well. Then I add 30 new books, you know, from various recommended book lists. So that's okay. We're very spoiled through the digital resources and the physical books that are available through Plano Public Library and its 5 locations. The app is really almost a 6th location if you think about it, because you can take it anywhere,
Yeah.
get anything you need.
Yeah, Libby is, I mean, it's a go-to, it's a daily thing.
Right.
I looked at how many holds I have on Libby waiting for books, 10.
10.
So it's great. It's always like a treasure. The day that it comes in, I get excited. I'm like, yes. But
It's your
I've got-
mystery box.
Yes, because I'll have so many that I forget what I've asked for. So when it comes, it's a surprise.
Oh, yeah.
But I've got something on my Kindle all the time. I've got Libby. I've got Audible. So I usually do several different genres at the same time.
Same. And if I had to pick, by the way, a favorite nonfiction book that I'm reading right now, to make myself better, it's Storytelling with Data. It's a really good book. So we'll probably do a little book club on that in our team, just to brush up our skills of using spreadsheets creatively.
That sounds terrible.
You can be both.
That sounds terrible. Why would you want a book on spreadsheets?
Oh, you know, but if you can make a spreadsheet pretty, isn't it wonderful? Somebody can do it. It doesn't have to be me.
It would not be me. But it is
Anyway.
someone's happy place. I
Absolutely.
appreciate that.
Absolutely. Well, I think we've come to the end of a very different Inside Plano, but it's good. It's setting the tone for where we're moving from here.
Yes, and speaking of books, that's going to be our next podcast, our first subject. Since I love books, I love storytelling. We've done a little bit before with the new special needs section of books. So this is adaptive books for individuals with special needs, whether they're visually impaired or an intellectual disability. We have an entire section in our library of books that can make them more accessible to everybody. And it's something that was actually created by a librarian at one of our schools at Skaggs Elementary.
Oh, wow.
And passed it on to us. And now our librarians are teaching this to other libraries. It's incredible. And as a mother of a child with special needs, it's close to home because it really makes stories available to kids who wouldn't have been able to read that book or wouldn't have been able to really relate, catch their attention. So we're going to hear from the person who created these and then our library.
Oh, that sounds like a great topic. And Just, as a final reminder to our listeners, if there are stories behind the stories that you would like to know more about, or topics that you'd like Amanda to put on her sleuthing hat and go dig into to tell us more about what's in Plano and what's behind Plano, you can let us know at any time. Ask Plano at plano.gov is the best way to do that. Send it in and we'll get working on it. And I think our next episode will probably come a month from now. We'll get things put together. So we'll get back on a schedule, and we'd love to hear from you on how frequently you'd like to have the podcast in your...
Yeah, I've got endless ideas. It's just putting them all together, but I would love more ideas from any of you.
Well, Amanda, it's been a ton of fun. I'm excited about it.
Me too. Thanks for joining with me. It's going to be a great time.
Absolutely. Talk to you later, Plano.